Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter, and today we're going to be talking about Monster Hunter World Iceborne. This weekend marks the first taste that we've had of the Iceborne expansion. We were actually able to go into the Hoarfrost Reach and explore that map a little bit, which is a beautiful looking zone. The snow, the realistic snow being in the game is really, really cool. Not to mention all of the blights that kind of come with it, as well as the crystal ice areas that you get to fight in, which I still suspect do have some kind of like movement hampering effect. I can't really put my finger on it, but I can't wait for people to actually start crafting about that stuff. But anyway, we got to fight off new monsters. We got to fight Bombaru, which is really fun fight. I really like Bombaru. We also got to see Bombaru's armor, which looks badass. We got to fight Tigrex as well. For the first time in Monster Hunter World, which, yeah, that is one hell of a fight. It was pretty tough, although I know if you guys follow Team Darkside, they make everything look easy, so there you go. But yeah, we beat Tigrex. I think most people were able to beat Tigrex. He just requires a little bit of practice, and you to take a weapon that you're pretty proficient with, you should be able to do it fine. Or you can just go with a group, and usually with a group it's fairly easier because there's a lot more things to distract them than just you. But I felt that he was really fast, which is good. It's good that there are still a lot of monsters that are going to be challenging. But not only the new snow monsters, we also got to fight some old monsters in the game, their new souped up versions of Master Rank, or at least a little bit of a tease of what their Master Rank versions are going to be like. I don't know how many of you guys actually went after Rathalos and Anjanath, because they're in the same map as Great Jagras, which was one of the quests that you could do. So basically you could go and you could fight a Rathalos if you wanted to, but the Master Rank Rathalos, yeah, he's a little bit different than what you're used to, you know? Because in Monster Hunter World, basically, with the convenience of flash pods, I think a lot of hunters grew a little bit too reliant on flash pods, myself included, for damn sure. Because whenever this particular Rathalos takes to the skies, I was like, well, flash pod, and he's like, nope. Flash pods are not going to be as efficient in Iceborne, and I actually think that is a good thing. I know there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to like that change, but I think that is a very good thing because a lot of monsters had their difficulty completely neutered by the fact that you could just flash pod them out of the sky. Now, you're actually going to have to use the mechanics of the Clutch Claw to bring them down and not just rely on your flash pod all the time. And Clutch Claw mechanics are a lot of fun, so that just kind of makes for an overall more fun experience in the hunts. At least from where I'm standing, I thought that fighting the new Rathalos was a lot of fun. He's way more aggressive. He resembles a little bit more Azure Rathalos in a lot of ways because he just like does a triple fireball, and he's basically way more aggressive, and you can't just flash him out of the sky, which again is a very good thing from where I'm sitting at. And naturally, we got to try out all of the weapons and all of the new moves, which is something that I've done, by the way. There is a video on the channel, and I realize that some of you guys might look at that video and like, Rurikhan, that's a 4-hour video. It's actually a live stream, technically speaking, but you guys are going to go like, Rurikhan, that's a 4-hour video. I don't want to watch that. I know, but that's the thing. I have like a pinned comment in that video that breaks down the sections of the video so that you can go for what you want to see. So it's like, oh, I want to see Great Sword. There's a thing there, you click on the timestamp, it takes you to the portion of the video that is relevant to the weapon of your choosing, so that you can see the new moves for the longsword, charge blade, all of that stuff. Do keep in mind, I'm not like a master of all weapons. Usually I tend to focus more on weapons that have a shield, just because I like shield, as you guys know, shields up, iron breakers, all that stuff, and that is probably going to be the weapons that I will continue to main. Now, having said that, after I've done all of the testing with all of the new moves for all of the new weapons, and I fought all of the monsters available in the demo, and I played around with a lot of the new mechanics and stuff like that, one of the weapons definitely came out on top of all of the other weapons. And that is the weapon that I am going to be maining. And that is the main subject of this particular video. And I know that a lot of you guys are wondering what weapon that is. Before you continue watching the video, I want you to go to the comment section and I want you to try to guess which weapon is going to be my new main weapon. So before you actually see the answer that is coming, you go to the comment section and you're like, okay, Rurikhan, it's going to be the charge blade. It's going to be the lance, because, you know, these are weapons with shields, you know. It's going to be the sword and shield, you know. Just try to figure out. Or you can go even outside that. Maybe it's another weapon. Maybe it's the switch axe. You know, you don't know, right? Okay, now that you've done that, now that you've gone into the comment section and put the weapon that you think I'm going to be maining in Iceborne, I will reveal to you what I believe to be the best weapon in Monster Hunter World when the Iceborne expansion hits. And that weapon is the friggin' Clutch Claw, baby! Boom! That's what's up. It's the Clutch Claw. It's like, forget conventional weaponry, dude. Clutch Claw is a weapon that transcends the base weapons, and it is so much fun. The Clutch Claw has to be one of my favorite additions. It's just, I noticed that not a lot of people, including a lot of my friends and a lot of the Iron Breakers, I noticed that when I was playing in multiplayer sessions and all of that, not a lot of people were really using the Clutch Claw, whereas me, I was like, every chance I get, I'm clutching onto the monster, and I'm using the new mechanics, because the new mechanics of the Clutch Claw, I find those to be friggin' amazing. Like the whole thing about you jumping onto the monster's head, slapping them with the Clutch Claw, and then unloading a Slinger Burst point blank, making them run directly up against the wall, after which they fall down and give you a massive opening that deal damage. That right there, it's just the feeling that you get from pulling that stuff out is awesome. Now, one of the things that they need to fix, at least in my opinion, is that a lot of the times when the monster is transitioning between zones, he will show as non-enraged. You'll actually be able to see in the minimap, because, you know, when the eye is yellow, he's not enraged. When the eye is red, he is enraged. A lot of the times, when he's transitioning areas, he shows up as yellow, so you're like, well, he's not enraged, so I get to do my Clutch Claw shenanigans, because if he's enraged, the Clutch Claw doesn't actually work properly. So, like, you can still jump onto his head, and you might be able to not get knocked off, and you might be able to get your special attacks off or something like that, without taking damage, but you cannot use the Clutch Claw to control him when he is enraged. So like doing the whole Clutch Claw slap to turn him 90 degrees and then unloading the Slinger Burst into his face to get him to move forward. You can't do that if he's enraged. So we really need to have that very well delineated within the minimap as opposed to the way that it is now, because like I said, during the beta, a lot of times they were showing up as yellow and the stuff wasn't really working properly. And the cool thing about the Clutch Claw is that it is present in pretty much every weapon. It's going to have different effects for the different weapons. So like the heavy weapons that we talked previously, like I think it's the Hunting Horn, the Hammer, the Great Sword, the Lance, a couple of more weapons. I don't know all of them by head now. They're going to basically weaken the monster, and that is going to allow you to deal more damage on that specific area of the monster. The lighter weapons will actually allow you to extract ammunition from the monster. And I've seen a lot of people complain about the fact that, oh, the ones that extract ammunition, they're not as useful. I completely disagree. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I'll be with a heavy weapon, and I'm like, dude, I need some friggin' slinger ammo. Never before have I paid nearly as much attention to slinger ammo as I've been paying throughout the friggin' demo of Iceborne. It's like everywhere I'm going in the map, I'm looking around, where's ammo? I need ammo. Or I'm trying to find an opening to jump onto the monster and try to get some ammo so that I can do more shenanigans with the Clutch Claw. I just find that to be incredibly fun. And a lot of the different mechanics that the weapons have around the Clutch Claw are also really cool. Like even one of the mechanics that I possibly like a little bit less, which is the switch axe one, which while you are doing an elemental discharge, you can actually Clutch Claw onto the monster and then jump onto his head, and you can actually transition from that into a zero-sum discharge. Even that is fun because the way that they've implemented it actually makes it fun. So in the case of the switch axe, I don't think you actually lose gauge from doing zero-sum discharge on the monster's face if you do it with a regular mount as opposed to just transitioning from, you know, straight into zero-sum discharge. If you transition from a clutch attack, I don't think it actually expends the gauge of the sword. You guys might want to correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not 100% sure. There's too many weapons, like 14 weapons in this short span of time. So some stuff I might have missed, but I thought that was a lot of fun. The one in the Lance particularly, I love the Clutch Claw counter of the Lance. It is so good because you can even do it on enraged monsters, which usually getting on the face of a monster when he's like spazzing out all over the place is going to be very challenging because you're going to get knocked off. Because the thing about the Clutch Claw is if the monster attacks you while you are trying to clutch onto it, you're still going to take damage. You're going to get knocked off, all of this stuff. With the Lance, you get hyper armor when you do the clutch counter, which essentially a lot of times like the Tigrex would enrage and he would just like start spamming at me with his little, basically pulling the Rathian, what we call the Rathian, which is just like it does, like he charges at you 3 times in a row. When he does that with enrage, I can basically just stop him by Clutch Claw. Because I Clutch Claw, I counter, I take a little bit of damage from the initial hit, but then I also deal KO damage to the face, and I get to do a finisher in his face, and I can even unload Slinger ammo onto his face because you don't get knocked off with the Lance, and that might actually make the Lance one of the main weapons that I'm going to be using in Iceborne, because again, I just love the Clutch Claw so much. Right now, for my main weapons, I mean, naturally, like I said, Clutch Claw for me is the best thing ever. But you're going to actually have to have a weapon to play with. And right now, the 2 weapons that are seducing me the most is the Lance and the Sword and Shield. You guys know I have a love thing with the Sword and Shield. I just really, really like it. I like the agile playstyle. I like the fact that you're able to do shield slams and all that stuff. And with the Lance, the clutch counter just feels so nice. To be able to just stop a monster in its tracks whenever you want to, so long as you have enough health, is just going to be really, really friggin' sweet. Now, I don't know if you guys played around with the Clutch Claw as much as I did. There's currently, in case you guys didn't do that, there's going to be another demo coming up at this next weekend. This one's going to be available for everyone, not just PlayStation Plus subscribers. So if you guys want to try out those mechanics and you're like, oh, but when the monster and we're fighting the monster and it's really chaotic and I couldn't get the thing to work right, which was actually something I wish I knew earlier, because in the there's a new thing in the training area where you can talk to the cat that's there, the cat that like manages your house and stuff. You can talk to him and he will actually replace the objects in the training area with like this this thing that's just like a conglomerate of barrels that kind of is shaped like a monster, and that allows you to practice all of those Clutch Claw tactics so that you can actually do it in a controlled environment. Like, don't be like me, because I learned everything actually going up against the monsters and failing repeatedly until I eventually got it right. When in fact I could have just gone on to the training thing and practice it until oh, that's how it works. Okay. But seriously, go try that out. Go try that stuff out, either on the training grounds or even in practice against monsters. Play around with the Clutch Claw because it is so much fun. I find it incredibly fun. Some people say it's overpowered. I would disagree. I don't think it's overpowered. Well, I mean, it depends. Because the monsters that drop thorn pods, yeah, those monsters are not going to have a good time. Like those of you that watched the live stream, or if you want to go check out what happened with that, you can go to the light bowgun section where basically I just spammed Bambaru with thorn pods until he stopped dropping them. Like literally, we took all of the thorn pods that Bambaru could possibly drop and we placed every single one of them directly in his face. He was getting knocked down completely throughout the entirety of the fight. So monsters that drop thorn pods and people that are pretty good at using Clutch Claw is going to be a match made in heaven. So in those cases, yes, I would consider that the Clutch Claw might feel a bit overpowered. But other than that, if the monsters are not dropping, thorn pods, I think you'll be fine. I don't think it's overpowered because in a lot of situations the monster can just shake you off. So it's not that big of a deal. And it's just another alternative to make things more fun. And it just happens to be my favorite thing in the demo. But anyways, I'm actually curious how many of you guys got that answer right, so I'm going to be going through the comments after this video goes live. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video as per usual, hit it up with a like button. It really helps me. It really supports the channel if you hit the like button, or even if you hit the dislike button if you didn't like the video, because feedback is also important, and because that is the only way that the video actually gets sent out into the recommended feeds so that it actually gets views and enables me to keep doing what I'm doing here. And if you guys do enjoy it, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so that you guys are actually notified whenever I put up a new video. Stay strong, and may your shields never break.